Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today by none other than Cozy Snap. Cozy, it's that time of the month. My favorite time of the month where we get to review the cards that we reviewed ourselves a month prior. And this is exciting because it's a little nerve-wracking, and that's okay. That happens from time to time. But you know what, my friend? This is an exciting time to be a Marvel Snap player because we got a new season coming, and now we have kind of a little bit of perspective on what the prior season brought us with one of the biggest game launches in the world, Marvel Rivals. How are you this month, my man?
What's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, it was cool. Finally, we got Rivals had stuff, Snap had stuff for Rivals, and Rivals didn't have anything echoing Snap. And now we've got the Deadpool with the arrows in his head as a nameplate in the game from Snap. And it's so cool to have a little bit of representation. I was in a match the other day, and someone was like, "You got me this nameplate pretty much, Cozy. Like, is this Cozy from Snap?" So I love to see the integration finally happen in between both of the mediums, right? And hopefully a couple people come over from that side to this side. But doing good, man. Doing good. It was a fun month. Obviously, was bit into Rivals myself, and so excited to talk about these cards.
No way. Did you play Rivals last month, Cozy?
I dabbled.
You just dabbled a little bit? I got to tell you, first of all, every single time you walk through the TVA portal, I'm like, this guy, he knows what the people want.
Dude, pretty much I took the what's going on and welcome back or whatever. Like, I that's just the thing that I decided, you know what, I'm going to do that every video. I just think it's fun. I think it's cool, and it works because, the portal can show up anywhere. So I was like, I'll have some fun with it. I'll do it with that.
I like that a lot. You know what else I like a lot? The Season Pass card, Galacta, Cozy. Now, both of us came in at 5 stars. Galacta is running a 52% win rate, and by golly, a 33% meta share. It doesn't get much better than that. I think it's fair to say that the money maker of the last month, that Season Pass seller, the gravy train, Cozy, on Galacta, I think it's sold well and it's done well, and I don't think we're surprised.
No. Great card. Definitely, doesn't have the Surtur feel of, we somehow undershot. It's a 5-star card through and through. Does good. Great plug-and-play ability. And a card that I play with a lot. I look at my deck design. I'm like, I'll throw Galacta in there. It's just going to work out. She annoys the hell out of me in the Rivals because she'll be like, you got to get on the payload. I'm like, yeah, no, Galacta, shut up. I'm dying by arrows over here. But, yeah, fun to see her. Good in Snap. And definitely a card that did not miss.
No, she did not miss at all. And what's interesting, and I don't know if you agree with this, I doubt she gets nerfed. Nope. I could see a world where she gets nerfed, but I don't think they change the +3 power. I think they take her to 4/5, if anything, and even then, it's irrelevant in my opinion. I think this card just keeps staying like this. I don't think it quite hits nerf level. This is about as good as you can get while not getting nerfed.
Agreed. I don't think she gets nerfed. I think the only time we get those huge immediate nerfs are the glaringly obvious what's going on here, and I don't think Galacta has that behind her. And so, yeah, I think she stays the same.
Yeah, Surtur definitely had that, what are they thinking feel to it, whereas Galacta doesn't. And I'm really glad. This feels like a fair... Hold on. Rewind there. Because if you're free to play, it certainly has not felt fair. That's actually something worth mentioning. If you're free to play, this card has felt awful this month because it feels like it could go in anything. We said it at the review. This feels like a Hope Summer style card that can go anywhere. This card has legit been anywhere. In fact, you know where it has been the most? In Silver Surfer, baby. Silver Surfer has risen on Galacta. A 4-costed card being an amazing Silver Surfer card because of what it does to Broods and Sebastian Shaws and everything else around it. It has risen that archetype completely. And so, for me, this card has been frustrating for new players because, or no, not new players necessarily, but free-to-play players because it's like, wow, it's in every deck. But honestly, it's been such a good one. And I feel like it didn't warp the meta. It's been a meta shaker, but it didn't warp the meta. Now, another card that did not warp the meta is our next card, Luna Snow. Now, Cozy, Luna Snow is a fantastic healer in Marvel Rivals. I love the icy arts. I love what Luna Snow is capable of doing. But in Marvel Snap, maybe not quite as hot. I came in at 3 stars. Now, you did, this was weird.
Yeah, I did all over the place.
You came in at 2.5 to 4. One of the largest, I'm just going to put the widest net possible moves Cozy has ever done.
Oh, yeah.
You already use the 0.5s all the time, and now all of a sudden you're going 0.5 into a massive... Cozy, where did Luna Snow end up for you?
Yeah, I could have done what I did with Moonstone, right? Where I went with lower because that's the expectation I had, but then, it was that we got to play and see how this works out. And it's right around, I want to like her more than I do. Is that like fair to say? Like I think of things with her all the time that I can pull off, and then I'm like, it just impractical. It just doesn't always work out. Probably in between there, maybe, is where I would end up, man. How about you? What do you end up with her?
I end up with 3, which is what 3, I gave her prior. I'm happy with that. I actually like the card. I actually felt like it was a pretty good card in Evo, to be honest with you. I like playing with Kyra, buffing that, because with like Misty Knights and stuff like that, I was buffing the ice cube. Is it an ice cube? I think it's an ice cube.
Yeah, it is ice
I don't remember now. So you'd buff it inadvertently with something like a Misty Knight and everything like that. And so like with your Kyra, it would survive. Like you would always get that buff up, which is nice. And obviously High Evo likes it, and we'll talk about High Evo later. But overall, like it was okay. But you know what the problem is? A 50% win rate. It's not quite good enough, right? It's not terrible. There's worse that we're going to be talking about. But 50% is not enough to like move the needle. And it has a popularity play rate of 2%, which is awful. Yeah, this is a card that nobody's playing right now. And as a new release, it's a little rough. Hasn't had the meta impact that perhaps people were hoping for. But yeah, Luna Snow, I think Cozy and I can agree, approximately 3 stars. And that's going to take us to Peni Parker, another card that, I'm going to say like Luna Snow, some reservations on, but perhaps a little more optimism. Cozy, I came in at 3 stars. You came in at 3.5 to 4, but then ultimately settled on 4. You said, you know what? I think I can see the height here. And with Victoria Hand coming out, maybe it kind of gives a little more pump to that Peni Parker. But as of right now, she's running a 49.6% win rate. However, a 7% popularity. So she's being played in a lot more decks. The win rate's not as solid. In all intents and purposes, it's still almost 50%. But here's the thing. In my experience playing this card, it feels better than a 50% card. I actually like Peni Parker.
This is the Frigga card for me. Like, where it's like, I got, like, Frigga's stats were awful whenever we covered her. Terrible. And to me, like, I don't like her as much as I like Frigga, but does have that same kind of feel of, like, I like playing the card. I do, and I think it's worked in the decks that I played her in. And I think she does have a better future ahead as well. And it's just an interesting way to work around it. And I think that her kit is going to work. And so 4 is probably high, but I do like the card.
Yeah, and I agree, actually. Like, I feel like this card's going to age better than some of the other ones here. Like, Luna Snow, I don't think it's going to age particularly well. But Peni Parker, I think, will. Like, there's a good chance that Peni Parker is going to, like, find its niche and excel there. And that's what I expect to happen. Perhaps 4 is maybe a little high where it is right now. I think 3 is perfect. And I could see this ultimately becoming a 4 card, though. Because I think the movement's good. I think that ramp is good. It felt like a card that was, like, kind of being a jack of all trades. It was doing a little bit of everything. And I think, we have other cards that tried to do that too that we'll be talking about shortly. But this, I feel like, was so close to being really meta relevant. I don't think it gets buffed. It's definitely not getting nerfed. I think it's going to find its home soon. So Peni Parker, I think that if you have it, if you pulled it, I think you can rest on it kind of happy, being like, you know what? This card might be something special down the line. Now, we're talking about something that's special, Cozy. Doom 2099. Now, listen, I'm going to get a little bit of a spanking on one of my picks, but you, sir, might get a little bit of a spanking here because you came in at 3.5, sir. This was my 5-star. Not trying to rub it in, I'm just saying. But it's running a 52.5% win rate at 18% meta popularity. It's been amongst the top cards of the month. Okay, now I'm actually just rubbing it in. I'm going to stop talking. Cozy, defend yourself.
I don't think it's a 5-star card still. I don't know if I'd give it a perfect rating. I do think it's a good card, though. Yeah, when I say 3.5, it's about 3.
You said 3. You were like humming and hawing into the 3s and 4s, and then you said you finalized at 3.5. But you're right. I don't think it's a 5-star card either.
So what is it?
I think you are correct.
I don't think it's a 3.5. I think it's like a 4 maybe in the way
it's a 4. I think it's a 4.5.
Okay.
I think it goes to 4.5 maybe.
Yeah. It definitely landed. I think like I saw a world. Like, yeah, it's a good card. It definitely is. It's a fun card. Very simplistic in the way that it works and what it does. Creates the archetype. And did you say I get a spanking? A spanking? Yeah, or a swat. What did you say I get?
I don't know what I said. I think I said that you're about to get a spanking, but I'm going to get a spanking. Dude, all I'm saying is, like, you might have undershot Dr. Doom.
For sure, I definitely undershot him.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I definitely overshot someone else. So your time to spank. I was going to say your time to spank me. I'm not even going to say it. People are going to clip that.
I'm hot.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not doing it now. No, let's pretend like that didn't even happen. But yeah, Doom 29 I think has been very meta impactful. But also, like, I'll agree, Galacta, that's a 5-star. Doom 2099 doesn't feel like Galacta impact.
No.
It has its own decks. It does its thing. It does it well. I think Galacta's better.
Definitely. It's popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, it I don't think I would give it personally like what I would give most 5 stars. Yeah.
No, I would agree so. I think in the 4-star range is probably the most appropriate. It does have good stats, great popularity. Unlike the card that now goes, you get to turn it around. Because, sir, man, this was rough. This was rough. Bruce Banner. Now, here's what's funny about Bruce Banner. I wanted to really love this card. I did. On our preview video, we both came in at 4 stars on our preview video. Which, looking back, yeah, I know. That's what I felt like, too. And then, during the actual video itself, you came in at about 3. And then I was at 4. And you know what, Cozy? I got to give you credit. You talked me down. And right at the end, I don't know if you remember this. I said, you know what, Cozy? This is a late change to my star rating. I'm changing it to a 3. I'm bringing it down. I am able to sleep at night knowing that I dropped my rating to a 3-star in our preview there. Because, man, did this card suck. And what's interesting about it is that, like, I feel like it's not that far off. It's just what I suggested at the time of the review. Where, like, there's a reason why I don't play Cersei. Because I don't like this RNG stuff. I just hated this card. I hated playing it. In fact, in my high Evo shell, I even coped. I kept playing Bruce Banner. And it kept not turning. And it pissed me off. And if it did turn, it basically was just a Shonger's magnet, which is fine, I guess. But when I played Luna Snow, the deck felt better. When I played Bruce Banner, it felt like I was coping. Believe it or not, in high Evo, Luna Snow felt better than Bruce Banner. And I played an insane amount of high Evo this month. So, generally speaking, we both came a little high, but I feel more shame here because I was actually excited about this card, where I feel like you were a little more pessimistic.
Yeah, I think 2 things. So first, when we highlight any card, right, like we try to find the good in the card because that's the conversation, right? Like where can it work? And sometimes we even talk ourselves up or like whatever. 4 stars, those 2 lads were clearly off the mark a bit. And I think it might have been how much we liked the design of what it could do, and that was really interesting and fun. But clearly, dude, comparing it even to Cersei is crazy, because if you have 3 cards in a lane, you play Cersei down, you have way more than a 25% chance to get good value out of that, right? Whereas this is a 25% chance. Obviously, there's, rolling statistics to get the value at all that you were looking for Bruce. I think I said it on his review week. The only way this thing goes up is if we get more cards that want energy skip. Right now, we're forcing it into something, and clearly giving up energy is pretty bad. Like that, your game plan is, if it was every turn that this has a 25%, you know what I mean? You didn't have to do anything. You just play it down. And then that could work. Then you're talking about a much different case scenario for the card. But yeah, clearly this one is just is a big wolf.
I've seen suggestions. I actually thought this was cool, where you get a 25% chance per energy you float to get the opportunity for him to Hulk out. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I like that idea.
Yeah, pretty interesting idea. But overall, definitely falls flat. Not a fan of Bruce Banner. But you know what I am a fan of, Cozy? And this is one you knocked out of the park, I think. Oh, yeah. Rocket and Groot. You know what's funny? In all my videos I did, I called all my decks Team Up. And people were like, why is it called Team Up, Alex? Well, Cozy knows why it's called a Team Up, damn it. It's Rocket and Groot, baby. Marvel Rivals. But anyway, we keep talking about Marvel Rivals. But realistically, Rocket and Groot, baby, they jump on each other's shoulder. Not each other's shoulders. Groot gets on his shoulder. Well, my gosh. Rocket gets on Groot's shoulder. This has been the worst intro in the history of the Snapchat. Cozy, I'm going to stop talking. Talk to me about Rocket and Groot. I've completely failed out here.
I need to see Groot on on Rocket's shoulders. Maybe baby Groot. How about that? So, yeah, I mean, I think this was, when we reviewed the whole season, this was like, okay, I think this is the best card of the month. And to me, obviously Galacta is more plug and play, but man, I loved this card, the way that it worked. It was so fun. It also encouraged new deck builds, which I thought was really cool too. I did some weird Galacta priority deck, or Galactus priority deck. But dude, gosh, didn't this card just feel crazy value a lot of the times, and then being able to move it and gain on that value? Man, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It felt really good. It didn't feel game breaking. It didn't feel like it was crushing it, but it just always felt really good. I think the movement part of it gave it a really nice floor, where even if it was a 3/3 that moved, it didn't feel awful. Like, it felt like I missed my hits, but like, at least I get the versatility of the movement. But what I will tell you is that when he did land the hits, like the power was felt there. And I got to tell you, Cozy, my Silver Surfer deck, #1 Rocket and Groot deck, baby. I like it a lot. I liked what you did as well with the Galactus route. I thought that was such an interesting mind game thing. I was like, When I saw that and I was watching your videos, like, Cozy would come up with a mind game version of Rocket and Groot. You know what I mean? It was such an interesting thing as well. But like, this card's been a banger. In terms of star ratings, I came in at 4 and you came in at 5. And I think that arguments can be made for both. It has a 52.5% win rate, almost 53, and a 25% popularity. This card clearly landed on its feet.
Yeah, I think Nocturne needs to get a buff, and it just echoes what I said. You get one steal, it's a 3/5 that can move. I think that's going to age beautifully into the game, and I like the future for this card.
Absolutely, and that takes us to our final rankings, Cozy. Ours were a little different here, and so I'll read it out. I'll read it out loud here. Cozy, from top to bottom, your rankings were Rocket Raccoon and Groot number 1, Galacta number 2, Peni Parker number 3, Bruce Banner number 4, Doom 2099 number 5, and Luna Snow number 6. I had gone Galacta number 1, Doom 2099 number 2, Banner number 3, there's the whiff, Rocket and Groot number 4, Peni number 5, and Luna number 6.
Oof. That was a crazy month, man. Crazy month, crazy effects. Funny to see it all in and how they kind of worked itself into the game. And we see time after time, those rankings change as we head into new months, new synergies, and more time with the cards. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys age.
Of course, and some things age like fine wine, just like some of our favorite cards of the month, Cozy. It's that time. I love this conversation so much because it gives us an opportunity to kind of highlight some cards that not necessarily are the best cards in Snap, they just might be as well, but our favorite cards, the ones that we've been playing. And you know what? I want you guys in the comments to let us know what are some of your favorite cards this month, because they don't always have to be the meta shakers and the meta popular cards. Maybe there's a couple things that you just love. And I'm going to start, Cozy, with number 1, cost 1, Hydration Robert.
I knew you were going to go Bob.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's been Bob, Cozy. Are we on the same page or what?
Yeah, that's who I had to. And funny enough, I literally have in my notes, don't pick Bob. He's going to pick Bob. So I didn't pick Bob. But yes, I think it's the most clear-cut 1/5. Works out. Really good card. Not a lot to go on about it. It's a 1/5 that does its job well, right? Good stats. 1/5 is a stupid stat line. Poor Lizard. I went with the Hood. I think I've always liked how the Hood's been working for me, and in the decks I've been playing him in, and he's going to get even better this next month. But if it wasn't, it was Bob.
Yeah, the Hood is actually going to get a lot better this next coming month there, and it's kind of crazy to think because at the 2 slot, I've got 2. See, I did this. Okay, no, I'm not going to bring up Scream this month. I did it last time. Boom, I just did it anyway. My actual 2 cost is Havoc. Man, Havoc has found a home. He's been a top performing card, baby. I'm just telling you right now, Havoc has been legitimate. I've been playing Havoc. He's been doing his pew-pew against my energy. He's been popping off. You can't even really Shadow King him. He's got Shangered a couple times. But Havoc has been my card. And I, too, have the Hellfire Gala variant, Cozy. He looks like such a stud muffin, and he has been a stud muffin this month.
Shocked face. Yeah, man. I think this is the first time Havoc has been talked about in exactly a full calendar year. He came out December of last year, and here we are. I'm going to go with Peni. Again, just to highlight, a lot of my picks are the new ones because they're damn fun. But yeah, Peni, just because of the way that she worked with ramp, unique play, movement capabilities, I had a good time with Peni. So I have Peni at my 2.
I do like Peni a lot too. And just like what we talked about with Rocket, the added mobility with the ramp, it gave it like this floor that felt really nice, right? And I come to really appreciate that. We've discussed that a number of times on the Snapchat where it's often the cards that have really strong floors that feel like they're worth running because of the consistency. And I think that Peni does provide that. And the ramp effect is often just like kind of the gravy on top, right? And I don't know. For me, Havoc it felt like a card. Have you ever experienced this where like you just don't ever play a card and then finally you find a deck and you're like, hell yes, it feels about right, about time to play some Havoc, and it just pops off. Actually, I think the last time Havoc was popular, I think it was Glenn that made that deck. Remember he made that deck with also Bloodstone, Havoc, and some other stuff?
Yeah.
We had like Yellow Jacket. It was a cook, right? And it came from Glenn, which is kind of cool to see. 3 costs, Cozy. I'll pass it off to you. Although, I'm in my head, I think I know what you're picking.
Who do you think I'm picking?
It has to be Rocket and Groot. There's no way it's not Rocket and Groot.
It's not. It's Frigga. I think I spoiled this on my side.
Oh, come on. You baited me into that.
Yeah, no. I had them originally, and I'm like, I'm just picking all the new cards. No, Frigga, man. I think I knew when this card came out, I was going to enjoy it time after time. The play style, but also we look at it next month. It's looking good, too. There's just so much fun stuff you can do with this card. You got the buff to the 3/4. This is definitely my card.
You know, I'm actually feeling a little silly because I believe on your side of the Snapchat, you literally said, you're like, I'm going to spoil our favorites, and you talked about Frigga. So, like, damn it, Alex, you got to remember our prior conversation. I would have got it there. But, okay, give me a little bit of credit. You also loved Rocket and Groot.
I did. Yeah, it was close. It was a close second. Who's your 3 cost?
Okay, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm just going to say Silver Surfer as a whole. I have never been more happy playing Silver Surfer this month, so he gets the shout out. But the special shout out, the real champ of the 3 cost, Gladiator. And the reason why is because Gladiator has been so good with Galacta, okay? It has been so damn good. That extra 3 points of reach, Gladiator's trading pretty much whoever he wants, right? Like, basically, he doesn't trade Magneto and some, like, other bangers. But he's pumping. He's pumping with Galacta. And he's putting up so much power. He's being so disruptive. And, I mean, we should have mentioned it before as well, but, like, even with, like, Ares, there's a chance that, like, Mildex might be a thing. And Galactus. I almost called him Galactus. Gladiator does a great job of milling, really disruptive. I don't know, man. I've loved this card. And can you really shake your head at a 311 with that Galacta buff?
Yeah, dude. Gladiator has aged very, very good. When he came out, we didn't like him. He got the buff. Made a lot more sense for his power comparison. And has just continued to age well in the game, man. Dude, this would be someone fun to rivals, dude. Just the design's crazy. Yep, so I like the Gladiator pick, man. What about 4?
Number 4, okay. I'm not, obviously Galacta is worth mentioning, but there's a true 4-drop. Now, Cozy, I know you would never have guessed. I hope you're ready. You thought I was reaching with Havoc. Get ready for the greatest reach in the history of the Snapchat reaches. And this is not a joke. No more. I'm not joking. Hear me out.
What?
I played so much ongoing. Listen to me. I played so much ongoing in high voltage. And what I found was the best. I was playing this Spectrum ongoing deck. I had like Cosmo in it. I had Goose. I had all this disruption. I really liked it. But what I did was I found it so easy to throw Namor into a lane and just leave him. Because I often had 4 power on turn 1. I'd throw Namor out and just leave him. And then I would reach there with things like Onslaughts. And I would reach there with like Onslaught and, Mr. Fantastic. Or I would do like an Onslaught into Omega Red or Onslaught into the Claw or just Claw. Or I would just do Spectrum and pump them a little bit. I was beating people with Namor non-stop in high voltage. I did some of the Gambit Pew Pew stuff early on. But then I just fell in love with ongoing Spectrum stuff for high voltage. And Namor absolutely carried me. He won so many solo lanes.
I think that would have been the last card I would have picked for you in the best way possible. I'm glad it's Namor, right? Again, talk about a card we have not talked about in God knows. I don't know. I don't know the last time I brought up his name outside of, again, Rivals. Who do you think mine is?
Oh, man, it's so hard to say. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I'm actually not sure. Like, I would figure I would say Galacta, but I think that's too easy.
Yeah, see, that was the tough part, right? It's like I felt like Galacta was the why not, just because it worked into a lot of the decks. I mean, like Absorbing Man is someone I didn't talk about last one, where I was like playing just Absorbing Man decks more because Brood, and I was able to get my hands on him again. That sounds great with the variant I'm looking at too. Talk about a good card with Iron Patriot. So I'm gonna lean towards Galacta just because I don't know how I don't pick a card I didn't play with in almost all the decks that I did play. Even with the Rocket and Groot deck, I had her in there so I could get Galactus out there without spoiling much into what 6 might be. But yes, it is a Galacta. 5.
For 5 for me is Legion. I played a lot of Legion as a splash card in high voltage. I played a lot of high voltage odds. I was so happy it was back. I really enjoyed it. And I felt like Legion's been a very fun card in Snap for a while now. And he was kind of relegated to Erisham, then he was relegated to the War Machine style stuff. But honestly, there is something crazy about flipping locations at the end of a game or during a game or whatever. Like, I think that Legion has the potential to be an absolute banger. However, I still think that I would like if they separated Legion from the Storm War Machine stuff. If they gave him a little bit more power, made him a 6-drop or whatever, like, I would rather that. honestly, as opposed to him being kind of handcuffed to this archetype that needs to keep him in check all the time, because they can't have you storming out or flooding and Legion and all that stuff, right? I would like if he had a little bit of separation there, but honestly, I've had so much fun with this card.
Yeah, man, what a card that has been good since it's come out. Like, it's had a couple drop-offs, but not really. Yeah, man, I respect the pick. Black Panther is up there just because of all the crazy high voltage stuff. He kind of always creeps up the most there. I think I got to go with the tried and true Namora. You say Namor on 4. I'm going to go with her on 5. Obviously, got the Lasher stuff, which I'm surprised neither of us picked at 2, by the way, for Lasher. But just like Namora decks is one of the 3 decks that I will go to for casual play. That I know how to pilot well. I know it's telling, but if someone hasn't gone up against it a lot, I wanted to look at this variant. There's a lot of number of reasons why I wanted to bring up this card right now. But yeah, no, Namora is my safe 5.
Actually, this variant reminds me of, like, there was one of those companies during the Olympics. They had like that swimsuit that got banned because it was making the swimmers too fast, and it looks exactly like what she's wearing. It's a cool. I saw a documentary about it. It was a swimsuit that was too fast, and they had to ban it. Really? Because it was actually that good of a swimsuit, and it looked exactly like that. I don't know which company made it, but I actually like Namora, and the fact that like Clog has kind of settled down, I think it's given her some ability to at least shine.
I just want to enjoy swimming as much as she does. Look at that. Her face is like, she looks like she's having a great time swimming.
Yeah, she does. She does look like she's having a great time swimming. Do you ever notice in that I've never realized this till right now? Is that a monster behind her? Is that like a face of like a Dracula or demon there?
It's so funny that we don't notice this stuff, dude. Yeah, look at this stuff going on behind her. Again, this is us just not knowing it. It definitely looks like a Namor, but like Demon 5.
He looks like a zombie. Yeah, he looks like nullified.
It's like,
or zombified.
it looks like a Hercules versus Namor is what this looks like.
Yeah, it's like Zeus punching Namor zombie edition.
How have I not noticed that either, dude?
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you've noticed. And just like I hope you've noticed that there are 6-cost cards in Marvel Snap. And I know, like, listen, what a transition that was. Cozy, you had a 6-costed card on your most recent thumbnail, sir. You want to start us off?
I think it is Galactus, man. I don't know. I always like Galactus when he's been out. People are not playing him as much, and especially when it's not the same thing every time, where it's like I'm gonna hobgoblin, here we go. I love the mind game Galactus. That's the most fun for me, and the way I enjoyed it a lot. I spent way too much money on this variant, so I had to find a way to play it more. Back when it did come out, it had I think collector tokens help me get the new cards each month. But yeah, dude, I just think it's so fun to blow up people's play that they were working on, and he feels balanced in the sense of like he used to just be like game ruining, and now I feel like it's fun to be able to like strategically try to get him out.
Yeah, no, Galactus is fun, and I'm glad that he's not like the meta disruptor he was before. And maybe that's just better, that he's not like the crazy super. Maybe he should not always be legitimately viable as a climber. You know what I mean? Maybe, yeah, right. There's that point in time where he was crushing everyone's dreams. And I mean, there's very few things in Marvel Snap that are awesome than making someone kneel. In fact, one of my first like viral shorts was me getting Galactus from like Agent 13 before he was even available in the game. And then I skipped 6 turns and it made a dude kneel. It was so awesome, right? And then the comments now are like, why is this so exciting? Like, man, he wasn't even in the game yet. Yeah, we got it from random generation. Yeah, but there's something awesome about Galactus. And for me, though, and again, this is kind of cueing into the hints about what I'd been doing prior with Namor and stuff, but it's Onslaught. Like, with High Voltage, I played so much Onslaught, so much ongoing. I did some really cool stuff. And I felt like Onslaught was like one of those cards that like you could sneak out on turn 2 and then do some funny combos with, whether it's Claw, Omega Red, or whatever it happened to be. And one of the things I liked doing was Onslaught into Captain America Omega Red, because then they just buffed each other and boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden, like the amount of pressure on the board was insane. You have Namor by himself in a lane like that. Talk about winning 3 locations at once. Those missions were easy when you were running Onslaught with all that wide power. But yeah, for me, at 6 slot, Onslaught, and still one of my absolute favorite variants that you have split. And Cozy, that's going to take us to our Snapchat mailbag. And my friend, the amount of comments about all various different things, but mainly your sweaters you've been wearing, the clothes you've been wearing, looking like Wolverine. Then you got like the sweater vest that looks like, it said that someone looks like it's gently choking you for the entire podcast.
If this is a question highlighting your in sync comment, I'm gonna quit the podcast.
No, sir. This is something else about what you did. When you said Alpha Force, I assume you meant Alpha Flight. Cozy, you said Alpha Force, and then you derailed me.
I was
By
trolling,
gosh.
I was trolling Alex, and he fell for it, guys. It worked like a charm.
I fell for it. You know what? Cozy is a man of legitimate strategy. You know what you did, Cozy? You baited nonstop interaction on that Snapchat because the amount of comments we got about the Alpha Force when we were supposed to say Alpha Flight was absolutely wild. But Major Psych had said, when you said Alpha Force, I assume you meant Alpha Flight. The Spotlight variant we got for Sasquatch was actually the Sasquatch from Alpha Flight. And as someone from Ottawa, I've always loved them because their HQ was under our Parliament buildings. I don't know that. I'm hoping for an Alpha Flight season as well.
Go Canada.
Hell yeah, okay. That's it. That's it, Cozy. Listen, I actually did not know that Alpha Flight's their HQ was under the Parliament buildings because like there's a couple underground like teams, right? Because there's the Murlocs in X-Men, which are underground in the sewers, right?
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at my percentage of audience from Canada, and I need to know yours too. You can see this demographic, and I need to know. How many?
We disappointed a lot of people last week when we said Alpha Force.
How many Canadians
Actually,
watch
you
you?
said Alpha Force.
How many Canadians watch you?
Do you want me to actually look it up right now?
I need to know. I don't even know if I can track Canada. Like, I think Canada. I think it's so small.
Oh my gosh. Here we go, Cozy.
It's not bad.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's not bad. There's the last 28 days, but go to like a year.
Okay. Oh my gosh. It's way lower. So the last 365 days in audience?
Yeah. Mine's actually,
okay.
If I do last year, mine's, what number is it? Mine's 4th.
Oh, so it's 3rd for me.
Okay.
What percentage so for Canada percentage wise, mine is 5.1%.
5.1%? Man, look at you, man. There's Canadians. 4.9.
4.9. And the United States of America for me is 43%.
43. This is why I was talking about what's that stupid place called that we always bring up that 50% of the audience doesn't know. What's it called? Tim Hortons.
Oh, Tim Hortons.
50% of the audience. Mine is 46% United States. United Kingdom coming in at a 7.3%. And then after
mine's 5.9 United
5.9. Dude, and then Germany coming in 3rd.
Me too. It's crazy. Germany for me too. It's the exact same rankings.
Well, I have Germany then Canada. You have Canada then Germany?
Oh, yes, I do. Canada's 3rd, Germany's 4th, and Italy 5th.
Oh, Australia is my next one.
Oh, no way.
That's wild. Anyway,
I'm Italian.
Anyway.
Well, actually, you got some Italian blood in you, too.
I do. For the 5% of people that we messed up on Alpha Flight, our apologies.
Yeah. Sincere. Hey, I bet you there's a lot of Americans who are avid readers of comics that knew about that anyway, and we're still peeved with our mess up. But we got another thing worth talking about here from Monte Carlo Cars, who said, the most insane thing about the past year for me is that Airsham continues to be the closest thing we have to a draft mode. Maybe at some point next year, Second Year will finally launch a real draft mode, but until then, I think Airsham's impact on the game is unmatched by any other card.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why this season, though, is so interesting and exciting because it brings that feel of randomness that's given reward, and that's why I'm the most excited for it, point blank.
Yeah, they've got to nail it. They've got to figure it out. They've got to nail it because I think it's going to do a lot to improve the future prospects of Marvel Snap, which, of course, we're rooting for you because if you're listening to this pod, it's because you like Marvel Snap and you'd like to see it get better. And here's the thing that made Marvel Snap better, and Apollo brought it up, and this is something I can't believe we missed in our kind of conversation about 2024. And they said, no mention of the Unbalanced patches earlier this year. Power couples for Valentine's and Avengers and X-Men events. I love those events and thought that they added a new dimension to the meta. Just as good as limited time game modes, if not better.
Yeah, I liked them. I guess the data around them was people didn't. I don't know. I don't know why they would pull those out. I think I didn't like them for a little bit. But then I also thought they brought so much cool synergy. I think they could have done a better way to advertise that it was going on and maybe a whole section on it in the game tab, because the Avengers X-Men was cool, and then you're like, well, who is it? There was some weird stuff with it, but I think the concept was cool. The name was
and the X-Men were way better than the Avengers at the time as well. I would like for them to go back to that. I think they're right. It's very similar to a limited time game mode. It really was.
Yep.
It was it was before that, right? So I would really like to see them perhaps consider doing that once again. And finally, we close the Snapchat with a statement from Luca, which we've all felt. And Cozy, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on. Luca said, Can't believe I wasted resources on Supergiant and Meek. What was I thinking?
There's always a couple each year, man. There's always a couple. And some, they've aged better, and Meek did a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, this comment kind of got me like with a little bit of a belly laugh because we've all felt that before, right? I mean, we joked like an hour ago about how I spent all my initial resources on Super Scroll when the first Series 5 token shop was revealed. I'm like, yeah, Super Scroll's it, baby, let's go. I left Galactus there. I left Galactus. I left Thanos. I left She-Hulk. I left Shuri. The list could go on. I picked Super Scroll. We've all been there. But one thing I will say is, Meek got nerfed. I don't know if you remember that. Meek got buffed and then nerfed again because it actually became such a core component of discard. It was crushing in discard at one point. But Supergiant sometimes, and this is cozy. You said this on the Snapchat today where you're like, with Moonstone, you're like, man, this is one of those cards you need to get your hands on. You just need to. And Supergiant's a great example of that. Where on paper you get super excited about it, but then in reality, it doesn't quite do what you're hoping for. However, still think it could potentially be a very interesting activate card. But honestly, it's so hard in a vacuum to make an analysis on cards without playing them. And that's one of the tricky things about spending your resources in a game like this. We talked about it before, Cozy. You got to get those trial tickets, take a test drive of a new card in the shop or whatever, just so you know if you like it. But anyways, don't beat yourself up for bad decisions because you didn't spend all your resources on Super Scroll when you could have bought literally the most meta-defining cards in Marvel Snap's history. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you on the next Snapchat episode.